Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to start out with what's hidden or unseen or unknown. We may actually hit on all of those, but let's go ahead and begin. What is not visible or what is hidden? We have Queen of Cups. So there's the energy of love, and this really feels like somebody who waits for love. She thinks about somebody quite a lot. Now, this could be someone does not know how much she waits for them or how much she loves them. Hi, guys. Brittany H, Violet, Des21, Astrid. Thank you guys for being here. We have a 10 of Cups. It definitely feels like what's hidden is I'm thinking that either two people don't know that the other one is thinking, like, man, you're my wish fulfillment. Because now we got two people on this card. It starts out with her. So we can assume that somebody doesn't know that she sits there in her spare time and thinks a lot about them. But then in her back of her mind, she may not know that we've got this masculine picturing her as his 10 of cups. And this is to the point where he might be wondering or fantasizing about what it would have been like or what it will be like or what it could be like to have had a child with her, of all people on earth, and to have raised a baby, you know, co-created something. It doesn't have to be a child, but here it is a child. What's hidden is somebody doesn't know that that's what they think of. Okay, we have an emperor, we have the 7 of cups. I'm going to say, now that we have two people and he's clearly confused and she's over here clearly confused, I'm going to double down on the message that since we have two characters, both of whom, this is behind her, so it's not something at the forefront of her mind, so this is what she doesn't see. And then he's over here thinking, God, I'd love to be like in a really serious connection with her. I'd like to be her emperor. I'd like to be somebody really significant in her life. But he has no clue that she kind of sits there and in her spare time she thinks about him. Let me double check this. Is this two people who actually are thinking of each other? Like, we don't have some uber complicated thing, right? We have Knight of Wands. I'm just laughing because this dude is like, it looks like he's kind of on a stage performing, but it almost looks like he came streaking onto the stage like someone who's not supposed to be there. This is like, I said, what's the energy between them, right? And it almost looks like there is some kind of, um, you know, running on stage, this unexpected. This does not feel like this is two people who have ever even been able to like talk to each other or tell each other anything about how they felt. This is when something goes streaking through your brain, some kind of passion. This could even be very sudden. This could be two people who meet each other for the first moment and it's a love at first sight thing. It could have been brief. The Knight of Wands is a brief moment. So this is not somebody where it's like, oh, I work with them, I thought about them, for the last 3 years, I've just never told them how I feel. No. This is something where it's like a sudden, these two cross each other's paths and then they can't stop thinking about each other. This feels new. This feels, I have to read it that way because the Knight of Wands is streaking, which is hilarious. It's the only card I have where somebody is streaking. Oh, D'Artagnan's in the house. Hi, Yale Ruben. Great to see you, sweetheart. Good to see everybody tonight. We have the sun. Okay, so the sun is clarity, it's joy. It can be silliness, it can be happiness, it can be direct energy. I feel like both of these characters had some warm, wonderful jolt of the sun when they either met each other, looked into each other's eyes. They had a moment. But then that's it. So no wonder they don't know. What's hidden is that they both were interested in each other. I'm picturing two people that get introduced, however, very briefly, outside in a grocery store parking lot. You bump into somebody and, whatever. It's I'm picturing this feminine who bumps into somebody that they know, and this is like her nephew, her adult nephew, or the grandmother. Like, our emperor is out with his grandmother and she's a neighbor or somebody who bumps into the grandmother, in a parking lot, and the grandmother's like, oh, have you met my grandson? And it's like, okay, wow, that was electric. Obviously, Aries agrees, it's electric. I'm picturing it could be something like that, like a very brief and sudden meeting, because he's completely like, I have no idea if she's interested in me. And then we go again with that card that is blank, but the same on both sides. However these two encountered each other, they were thinking the exact same thoughts. Lust went streaking through their brains. They were super excited to meet each other. They could have both blushed a little bit also. But at the same time, they're really excited to have met each other. Or there was this moment of warmth, and then it was too brief, and they didn't get to evaluate, like, I didn't get to talk to them very long. I didn't get to get their number. I didn't get to, potentially express that I'm interested in them. That why do we have to be so briefly able to encounter each other? And then here they are thinking such serious thoughts about each other afterwards. Knight of Swords. Yeah, this was way too fast. This was like skating by each other, bumping into each other, maybe physically. I mean, I know some people are amazing on skates. I could care less if I'm ever on skates again in my life. I have no grace on skates. But I'm feeling like, lots of people are as clumsy as I am on skates. And so literally bumping into each other could be, I would associate that with skating, but that's just because of my lack of talent or coordination, I suppose. But it's the only reason I would say that. Otherwise, skating by could be smooth, but I immediately think of it as not smooth. So maybe these two physically bumped into each other and it was just so brief. Now I have this image in my head of somebody who's like running to like get on the metro as somebody else is hurrying to, scurry off the metro. And it's like they bump shoulders, but they're just for a split second, as they rotate around each other. And then it's like the train is taking off and they're left, one's on the platform and the other one's taken off. And it's like, damn, that was in a moment of eye contact. That was a moment of that person just woke me up like a lightning bolt. And now I'm already like gone. We're already passing each other by. This is too brief. So what's unseen or what's hidden or what's unknown is that both of them had the same moment of like, that's really exciting. I just met somebody who was really amazing. Oh my God. Signs and Sinks. Thank you, Angel. Signs and Sinks just gifted 20 memberships. That is unbelievable. If your name just turned green, just know that is courtesy of Signs and Sinks. That means you are now a member. Oh my God, Signs and Sinks. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. On Monday, Signs and Sinks, can I pull a card to say thank you for you? I'll have to wait until Monday just because I won't have enough time until then. But I would love to if you don't mind, sweetheart. I'd love to be able to thank you. You are so sweet. Okay. We've got a 5 of Swords. This suddenly took a turn. We were having a good day. We were having this beautiful electricity. We were having two people encounter each other and both feel the feels, even though they didn't get to take action on it. Did somebody else like show up unexpected and kind of bust in? Signs and Sinks. My pleasure. Awesome. I'll get you on Monday, love. It feels like all of a sudden somebody came in and wrecked their moment that they could have had. This could have been other strangers in a kerfuffle. This could have been a fighting couple who came up out of nowhere and start shouting and it wrecks the moment. This could have been an ex, 2 exes that show up out of the blue. And it's like, wait a minute. These two met for a reason. They felt some chemistry. They didn't get a chance to act on it. And now in come the disruptors. Now, maybe these are exes. I mean, it certainly could be. We've got maybe a King of Swords coming in on her side, maybe some angry ex-feminine on their side. I mean, that's just what we've got here. Doesn't matter what genders we're talking about, but we have 2 people that are disruptive. And one is angry and the other one is halfway karmic. So that's why I'm like, it seems like their exes both suddenly want to glom on. Like the moment, you know how exes seem to be like somehow connected. Just when you're doing good, just when you might meet somebody and you feel like a flicker of, oh my God, this could be important, this new person that I just met. And it's like somehow you look at your phone and there's the ex has just texted you, like they got the spidey sense you're about to be happy, and they're like, no. That's how that comes across. We've got the Page of Pentacles and we got the World card upright. Oh my God, Yael Rubin, you angel. Yael, thank you, honey. Yael just also gifted 5 memberships, you guys. If your name is now showing up in green, just know that is courtesy of Yael Rubin. Yael, you angel, thank you. May I pull a couple cards for you on Monday as well, sweetheart? I would love to say thank you. He's so kind. This feels so unnecessarily disruptive, but there it is. Now, this could be a great opportunity for both of them to remember, I'm starting a new cycle. I'm not going back to exes. I have a choice to make, though. Do I respond to the ex, or do I remind myself that today I bumped into somebody that was really hot, that was really gorgeous, that was really handsome, that made me feel some kind of feels that like totally woke me up for a split second. And now I'm hearing from my ex. How do I read this sign? Maybe the best way to read it is, I just met somebody better, a stranger, perhaps somebody I don't know anything about, but I felt a chemistry with them that gives me hope that there's another option out there for me. There's other people out there for me to maybe interact with and love. I have other chances at happiness. I don't need to deal with an ex who I already know how things go with the ex, because both of these exes are coming in toxic. Or, I'm sorry, I know that word is so overused, but this is, one wants to fight and the other one is going to come in with kind of a rudeness. The King of Swords sideways doesn't have nice things to say. They can be manipulative or game playing with their words specifically. So both of these exes seem to be very like caustic. And I think if our Queen of Cups and our Emperor, who just bumped into each other, who just had a chance to recognize that, wow, God, you're amazing. You're somebody that I would want to get to know, even though I didn't get a chance to. And now my phone's blown up because my ex is calling me, wanting to fight, showing up out of the blue. Why don't I take it as a symbol that I don't need the ex? I just met a stranger that is kinder, better, and I'm more interested in. That's a gift. That's a sign. Let go of the ex. Don't respond. Don't reply. Maybe just gently send a message to an ex that says, I wish you the best. I've moved on. And it's like, and really mean it this time, otherwise the reverse could happen and they could get siphoned back into the drama with the ex. And a lot of characters would do that. I don't think I see that happening here, but we'll see. Let's change decks and let's ask for each of them, because this says they're each going to get a blast from the past, like the Christmas past. Actually, no, I don't think I want that deck. We'll save that for a minute later. Let's go this route. What's the Queen of Cups going to do when she receives a blast from the past? 10 of Cups. She may suddenly feel like, oh my God, I just met somebody who made me think about having a 10 of Cups, but I have no idea if they thought about me the same way. Now I hear from the ex, and again, my brain goes to 10 of Cups. I think she's realizing how much she wants partnership. I don't know if she says, I want it with the ex, or if she's just saying, wow, that is exactly what I'm hungry for. Knight of Wands. This is one of two things. This is either she's going to say, I want the 10 of Cups, and that ex, it's Judgment Day. That ex, if they played a role in my life where they weren't consistent, then how could I possibly have the 10 of Cups with them? I need to make a judgment call about their past behavior and decide whether or not I'm going to let that ex back in, because I really realize that I want the 10 of Cups. But how do you have a 10 of Cups that has to be stable if somebody's always unstable and running in and out of your life only for passion but not staying? Now, the Judgment card oftentimes is looked at as a reconciliation card, but to reconcile with something can mean to simply make peace with the fact that something's done, something's over, something's finished. It may just need to be one of those things that the character is, hang on. In trying to make sure that I can still see the whole chat, I'm making it impossible to see. No, this just looks really, hang on before I move on. Yell, Ruben, sweetheart, are you still there? I didn't get to see. May I pull a card for you on Monday, honey? I don't see your response there. Forgive me if I'm missing it, but there we go. Okay, wonderful. You sweetheart. Yeah, it would be my pleasure. This really looks like our character is going to have to make a decision about the ex, about what she wants, about what she believes the ex could bring to the table. What's she going to land on? I got to ask. I got to know. 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is having like a personal sense of success, a personal sense of even like a source of like pride. I'm proud to say, 2 of Wands, proud to say that I will make the decision. She's not directly saying no to the ex. Unfortunately, she is saying, I feel empowered enough to make the decision when I know what decision to make. So she's going to give herself the time to consider. I mean, she is going to consider taking the ex back, even though she may know that they've been a player in the past or somebody inconsistent. But it's like, should I give somebody a chance to see if they've changed? You know, maybe it makes her feel good to hear from the ex, you know, and it's like, wow, you know, maybe this is them having changed, and this is the sign or the symbol that, you know, I really am ready for long-term relationship. Maybe they are too. Look, I don't want to rain on her parade. Maybe the ex has changed. Maybe the ex is wonderful, but they were coming back in as either the 5 of Swords or the King of Swords sideways. Neither one of these looks good to me. So as long as she sticks to this promise to herself, I will make the decision when I know what decision to make regarding the ex. I just hope she'll be good at critically evaluating their behavior, because it doesn't look like they're coming in nice. Okay, let's go over and ask for him, for the Emperor. Emperor, when you hear from your ex, what are you going to do? 5 of Wands. He's going to be torn between head and heart also. He's going to go into deep thought, running his brain round and round and round. 10 of Pentacles. And he is kind of like her, thinking, okay, maybe the ex wants to reconcile and give consistently to a relationship. Maybe they're ready for this now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. We got Death card. We got Ace of Pentacles. It looks like he's going to try to give an ex a second chance also, because of the, but what if they've changed attitude? What if it's all different? I mean, he's torn about it. He doesn't really feel confident about it, but rather than misjudge somebody, he's going to give someone, I think, a clean slate to show up differently. The only thing that I want to cry a little bit. The exes are not showing up nice. So I'm not sure what's leading these 2 people, the queen and the Emperor, to believe that, well, my ex is reaching out, therefore they must be nice now. Sometimes people only reach out for second and third helpings. You know, a glutton is still a glutton. They want what they want. They're selfish. So of course they feel like they can come back. Doesn't mean they've changed. But here's the one thing that I do really appreciate and like about this is it's showing how and why characters would give the wrong people second chances or third chances. It's because sometimes, and Kurt Vonnegut makes a really great statement. I love Kurt Vonnegut as a writer. You know, he's quirky, hilarious science fiction writer, but he's so much more than that. The more of his books that you read, you realize he's got like some considerable depth to, you know, like his perception of humanity. And anyway, a very interesting life story too. But, you know, sometimes the one failure, if you want to call it that, is for people that are not petty and gluttonous and selfish. They cannot conceive how other people could really be that way because they themselves aren't. So it's like, that is the one failing of somebody who doesn't have that same, you know, like toxicity in them. is that they can't even conceive that somebody else could really be that way and stay that way, because how do you understand something that you aren't, that isn't a part of your makeup? You wouldn't behave that way. She's a Queen of Cups upright, super loving. He's an Emperor upright, super, good leader and powerful and strong and kind. Both of these characters are upright. Their exes are coming in angry, petty, wanting to win, using words and silence as weapons, being selfish. You see the distance, or the difference, I should say, between how our two lead characters behave versus how their exes behave. And I almost think it's a lack of ability to compute that exes could really be maybe that messed up, that they would still come back in totally unhealed, coming back in fact, with a chip on their shoulder, because both of these two seem to want to fight. And it's like, wait a second. And these lovely but slightly oblivious Emperor and Queen of Cups are thinking, well, my ex must be trying to come back because, I should give them a second chance. I don't want to be too hard on them. They could be in such a wonderful energy and they want to heal stuff with me. I don't see that. I see them coming in like asshats. I'm so sorry, but they're just coming in awful. And these two lovely people are thinking, I wouldn't want to do them an injustice and blocking them. So much has changed. Let me give them another chance. No one would come back to me if they were just bringing in drama, right? So we have a Princess of Wands. Look, both of them, I think, are also getting a little bit like even excited about the unknown, about that now their attention is turned to their exes. I do want to take this step forward. I do feel excited even to have heard from my toxic ex. I know everybody's like groaning on this, being like, no, but I think it's a great story because it's so relatable. And here's that Judgment. And this Judgment card literally is like a biblical depiction of, after the flood, when Noah built his ark and the great flood came and it washed everything away, including like the wickedness of the earth. And then, just very few, as the floodwaters recede, are able to like rebuild. And that's what this card is showing, is like the very few as the floodwaters are starting to finally recede. So I'm only saying it this way because this has to do with both of them thinking like their exes want to wash everything clean. They're embarking in their minds on this new beginning, and they're excited and they're genuinely wanting to give their exes second chances, and they're genuinely thinking that we're going to wash away everything that happened in the past. We're going to start fresh, and this could be really lovely. Now, they seem to have forgotten that they bumped into each other, and I need to backtrack to that because that's how the story began. They bumped into each other for, I'm thinking, a divine reason. They felt excited first to have met each other. But again, they didn't have enough time to build anything, right? They were that accidental, we bumped into each other, we were amazed, drawn to each other, attracted to each other, and then just as swiftly, we didn't get to build anything. We didn't get to connect, and now our exes show up, and we're turning our mind to basically the devil that we know, okay? When it comes to what do they think about each other, they both are ready to say, you know what, I'm actually not even going to think about that wonderful person that I just bumped into. Tower has occurred, like I bumped into them. It was weird. It was serendipitous, but then obviously I'm meant to be with my ex. So I'm not going to think about that person that minutes ago we had them saying, man, I'd like to have a baby with them. This person, wow, I feel so excited to have met them. It was too brief, but I can't stop thinking about them. And now they're both like, never mind. It's my ex I'm supposed to be with. I would not say that they're doing this because they're like, oh, so unhealed. I think that their brains are spinning right now because neither one of them looks unhealed, but I think that they have, again, unfortunately, just this huge capacity to say that if something is walking into my life, something that I've already dealt with, and now it's coming back, it must be for a good reason. So I should give my full attention to it. It's almost like they operate with a sense of duty. And again, they're excited to think about, maybe course correcting something with an ex, because I don't think they like conflict or drama. Well, buckle up, kids, because you're going to get a hell of a lot more of that. We got the Nine of Swords. Oh, good God. It is so unfortunate. They had a chance to say no thank you to their exes. I'm starting a new cycle, but instead both of them looks like they're going to go ahead and go on the roller coaster of hell with their exes. Sleepless nights, big stress, big problems. Okay, I don't want to do a blow by blow with that. We can see it's going to get bumpy and it's going to get bumpy fast. Can we turn to the universe here and say, universe, the thing is, we know it's probably going to end disastrously for them once again with both their exes, right? When you go to the Nine of Swords, you know the one that comes next is the Ten of Swords. So it's only a matter of time. Although, I mean, for all we know, they could get super invested with their exes. They could be, somebody gets married to the ex or somebody lives with the ex. I mean, they could put down roots, horrible, horrible, rotting little roots together before they finally say, this is horrendous. How about we end things again? But my bigger question is, I hope it doesn't take them that long. I actually hope that the exes come in, they behave the way that we see them coming in, which is super unpleasant, and they crash and burn really, really fast. But my bigger question here to the universe is, universe, will these two, once they purge the exes again, will they ever meet each other again, the Emperor and the Queen of Cups? Six of Cups sideways. I may as well have a magic 8-ball that only says, like 5 different sentences, and like 3 or 4 of them are like, it is certain, because that's what I feel like I'm about to say is, it is certain. The odds are very, very good. Soulmates find each other. Soulmates also go through lessons together. So it's not even a shocker. This whole story makes so much more sense. Even the fact that we've got, 2 people choosing to work together again, but then somebody else who walks by and it's like, oh, wow, that's really nice. But no, I'm going to keep having a miserable business with the person next to me who's closer to me instead of breaking away and starting a new relationship. This feels like a soulmate group, honestly, where there are lessons to have learned with their karmics and there's lessons to learn together. These two will undoubtedly cross paths again, is what the universe says. So thank goodness for that, because it looks like they'll have another opportunity. 7 of Pentacles, and the universe says, it could be some time before that second opportunity comes back around, but we do have that second opportunity coming back around. How soon or how long a distance it is, they could have some control over. So let me put it this way. We have our free will, and then we have the powers to manifest, and then we also have the universe that throws some curveballs, and then we also have like the laws of the universe that act upon us, things like gravity, things that are irrefutable, that we don't maybe fully understand it, but we know that certain things like the seasons, you can't say, well, I don't want to do winter anymore, let's just skip ahead and we'll have 3 seasons instead of 4. Nope, can't manifest that away. There are certain things that there are cycles that have to complete, but even if there are cycles that have to complete that are now, because these two missed each other, right? It's like they were on a little merry-go-round and they passed by each other, and now, or there are, maybe I should say, swings, and they could have been swinging in tempo, but instead they got off tempo, and now it's going to be a while before they can get back in tempo and be in each other's worlds again. Part of it will depend upon when they're done with their exes and when they start thinking about each other again. And then they'll probably both have to be aligned, and they'll both have to be wondering, I wonder whatever happened to that really, beautiful Queen of Cups, that really sexy Emperor, that person that I met so briefly the day that my ex called me. At some point their minds will return, because this is cyclical. 6 of Cups, it's going to come back around. When they start to think about each other again at the same probably timeline, that's when they'll more or less be either calling each other in, or they'll be gravitating toward each other's energy flow. But again, things will take some time. It could be sooner or it could be later. There's not an exact amount of time on this, but 7 of Coins says some growth has to happen before this is possible. And it's really interesting because we have the Magician, but if you look, there's 2 of them, right? She's sitting here, and then we see her in the reflection, or is this the real one? And this is the reflection, right? I definitely feel like the 2 of them have to think about each other. Both of them have to manifest new beginnings. what is nice is that they met each other and they both made an impression on each other. And there are not, in this world, at least here's my personal opinion. I don't know that I'm right, but it's only true for me. In this world, there are people that make an impression on you unlike others. And even like pets, like in your lifetime, you'll have lots of different pets maybe, but there's one or two that are like that. There's something special there. You don't know exactly what to say. Is it that you love them? It's not even that. I mean, it translates to that perhaps, but it's more like there's just something special. There's some frequency, there's something there. When you imprint with someone, or when you see them, and it's crazy because sometimes it can be like someone who you never spoke to, you saw them from across a great distance, or you know of them but have never really had a conversation with them, but they stand out in your mind. And it may not even be because it's like, oh, they're so attractive. There's just something, an energy to them. And you go, that person, there's something to them. I've had this happen to me many times in life. Anyone who's important in my life, I always knew it. Always, always, always. Even if they were someone I had never met, even if they were just someone I saw in a photo, even if they were someone I just saw that I hadn't interacted with, it's like, I already know the ones that stand out. There's something about that. Now that's just me being crazy, but that's what's been true for me my whole life. But I'm crazy. So got to take that with a grain of salt. I only add this into the story because I don't know how else to explain this. If someone stands out to one another somehow, some way, I mean, a lot of things have to go right to cycle back around to each other. But if circumstances, fall into place, there probably won't be any doubt about it. These two will gravitate toward each other. Now, the world's a big place and many things happen in life and there's many different timelines. So there's nothing to say that you really are going to cross paths and have some future together. But I just think, rest assured that when somebody stands out I'll just say to me, I already know that person there's something there. Whether it's a soulmate, I don't know what I would call it. All I know is that there's a reason. And it could be masculines, feminines, doesn't matter. So I'm not even talking about attraction. I'm talking about people that stand out when others don't so much. You can walk by lots of people your whole life. You can walk by people for months and months and months, be surrounded by people, and you don't have that interesting, like, whatever that is. I'll just say the identification that person stands out. And again, it is not about attraction. It can be, but that's not necessarily it at all. It's something else. That's the best way I could describe this. But I do feel like for them in this story, I'm sure there's a better way for me to describe that, but I have to apply it to some example that I can try to, vocalize. But I think for them, it is romance for them. I think that they will actively manifest each other. We saw them have that flicker of interest, attraction, and it didn't go away, but they did bury it under the roller coaster of, the roller coaster from hell that they decided to go back through with their exes. When they call each other in, will they truly be completely done with exes? 9 of Wands. Finish line ahead. Let me put it this way. I almost think that to firmly shut the cellar door on the exes for good and weld it shut, they have to reconnect to each other. And maybe it has something to do with a cycle that got kicked off. Remember, this started out with the two of them meeting, however briefly, and then immediately the exes call. It almost feels like we have to bring this full circle. Like these two have to come back and be in each other's worlds in order to cross the finish line and be like, so crazy. I met you and bizarrely, I was thinking about you, but then that day my ex called and I can't believe it, but I got, messed up with them again for a while. Now here I am seeing you again. And it's like this somehow closed a cycle. I feel like they're both going to understand completely what that means. So do they have a potential future together, or are these two just somehow soulmates that are in each other's worlds because they're going to be friends, or because they'll have some weird serendipitous, sometimes we just have soulmates that are only going to be friends in this lifetime, even if we find them attractive. We have the Hanged Man. We can't tell. By the end of this storyline, we still can't tell who they're going to be to each other. Only that they will indeed find their way back into each other's lives. It will completely solidify the fact that exes are forever done. But then what they become, it says, we don't know. Universe, do you want to give me any hint? Or are we just ending this in secret silence? The universe says, and talk about the universe answering, right? We've got the Milky Way spiraling there, but we also have the big old, mystery of the pyramids here. And then we have the mystery of the human heart. The universe is like, listen, the best I can do for y'all is try to help amplify your magnetic ability to listen to your inner voice. But then y'all got free will, and you kids are a mystery to me. Whatever you people are going to do, you mortals, you get to decide. I can only help a little bit, but you get to decide what you do next. It's almost like somebody who gives us a book, but if we don't want to pick it up and read it, we don't have to. Somebody who gives us paper and pencils, but if we don't want to sit down and write something, then we don't have to. The universe is like, y'all get to do it your way. You get to choose what you do. Hopefully, though, they follow their hearts. And if their hearts are like, wow, I'm really drawn to you, I was back then hopefully they will follow that. At minimum, there's a lot of different kinds of love out there. At minimum, we know that these two have warmth for each other. They did at the very beginning. But the universe is like, I can't tell you whether or not they're going to be happily ever after in some romantic connection, only that they obviously share some kind of warm bond. But what it becomes is up to them. So a little bit, I'm not going to say unsatisfying. It's just that I would have preferred this one to have like a better outcome for like certainty, even though I completely understand and even respect the fact that the universe is like, I'm not going to tell you what they're going to do. I wouldn't know anyway. They have to decide. And I do love that. I love the freedom to choose. But for the sake of telling a story, I think this one would have been way more satisfying if we got a direct answer. But that's just me. Do we want to go one more just in case? If this were a story that I were writing, I would have to give this a completion. Page of Cups. That Page of Cups is a start of new romance. Let's say they'll at least try it. They'll try romance and see where that gets them. It's kind of disappointing only because they met and it was like, wow, this person's so important to me. And then they can go get pulled off by their exes almost immediately. That part I found really disappointing in this one, even though I think it's also way more relatable that happens, because I think that happens all the time to people who are, imagining that they're over something and then it shows back up. When I think it really sucks though, I mean, the fact that they both did it, that's fine. If it had just been one person who was like, oh, I met this new person, I'm starting to date them, I'm so happy. Oh, but my ex called, okay, drop them like a hot potato. That would have been an awful story. But that's not what happened here. This is different. This is a different set of circumstances. But I certainly want the best for these characters, whatever it may be. They certainly learned their lessons with exes, didn't they? And that part's really positive. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you, everybody. I know I did this one a lot earlier tonight than usual. I'm going to I think we still need to get Aquarius done on the other channel tonight. And I may do that one live, but I'm going to go take my baby on his night walkie. Otherwise, he'll be here yapping at me in just a second. Jessica H., great to see you. Travis Rhodes, RS, oh, good to see you, sweetheart. Good night to you as well. Apple Holo, thank you again, honey. Travis Rhodes, RS. Hey, Mary. Thank you again so much, Yale. Signs and Sinks, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all the incredible generosity. And there's my baby on cue. Hi, pumpkins. How you doing? You want to come up? Yeah. He knows. My dog knows everything. He knows when I'm wrapping up. He can tell the change in the pitch of my voice. He also has like a little psycho connection into my psycho brain. So, hi, Heidi. He is licking my ankle right now because he's very pleased that we're about to go on a walk. Our Joyce, thank you for being here. Hi, Sandy. All right, you guys, I'm going to disappear. The baby must go. Sexy Senator Sag, hi. I see you guys are talking about a series. I don't know which one that one was. I'm going backwards through the comments. So, oh, Apple, hello. You know what? I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome, honey. Pammer, wonderful to see you. Queen Bee, awesome to catch you, love. Victoria Knox, Holly Light. Thank you again, Signs and Sings. Calm C. Are you cranky lately? I think everybody's allowed to be cranky. I was cranky earlier today. Emelisa, hi. You know, when you start doing something and then it turns out three things fall apart and then you have to actually first fix those three other things before you can do the original thing you were doing, that's what happened. So it felt like a lost afternoon. Hi, Sonara. Sabrina Elizabeth, Delinda, great to see you, love. That's so wonderful. All right, you take care, love. So Intuit 333. I know, Signs and Things is so generous. Glow 10, thank you guys. Melissa, I love that. You're absolutely right. All right, everybody. Bye for right now. I'll see you guys on the other channel a little bit later. Bye. Yes, we're going now.